Hello. I need at least one person to do me a favor and turn on the video. Thank you, Mojgan. It's when I don't see people, it's so hard. Okay. So, the new chapter we're starting is outcome thinking. I could say it's my favorite chapter. It really is not just for marriage, it's for everything in life. Once you learn this chokhmah, I should call it, this piece of wisdom, you really become a different person. So, what does outcome thinking mean? Chazal tell us, Ezeu Chacham, who is the wise man? Haro'eh et hanolad, the one that can foresee the future. You know, there is a very big difference between planning for the future, between worrying for the future, and between lir'ot et hanolad, foreseeing the outcome. That's very different, very different. Some people make the mistake of thinking that, you have to be ro'et hanolad, you have to think about the future, and so therefore today I have to be worried that what will happen tomorrow. That's not ro'et hanolad. That is, tomorrow may be raining or not raining, so today I'm going to be worried about the rain. What will you gain from being worried about the rain? You'll gain nothing. Maybe you could plan to have an umbrella with you, but to be sad and worried that maybe your trip will be ruined because maybe there will be rain. And some people live their entire life like that, worried about the future. That's not what Chazal tell us when they say, Ezeu chacham haro'eh et hanolad. Ezeu chacham haro'eh et hanolad is being able to see, if I do this, what will the result be? If I put salt in the food, what will happen? If I put too much, it will be salty, right? That is to know what the outcome will be. Now, many times we do things without thinking of what the outcome will be. And if we would do things according to just simple thinking, what will the outcome be, we might do things very differently. So many times as I give the class, I say things because I think it's more, I enjoy it more, probably you enjoy it more when I don't read from the book, but rather I say it with my own words. But today's chapter, there is not one word that they can replace with more meaning and more wisdom than the way Rabbi Pliskin wrote it. So a lot of it, I'll be reading it to you because it is like every word is on the dot. So since wisdom is seeing the outcome of what you say or do, stupidity is just speaking and acting without concern of the outcome. Okay? Therefore, master the pattern of the wise. It is the path to harmonious marriage. This pattern will give you and your spouse a more joyous life. You see, sometimes we say, why? My spouse? You have to be comfortable with each other. Why can't I say whatever I feel like saying? Isn't that what a good relationship is? But sometimes we don't realize that saying whatever we want, it's like slaughtering the other one, and then we complain why you're dead. You just killed me, that's why I'm dead. You just took away all my joy and happiness from life. What do you mean why I'm dead? Because you killed me, because you destroyed me. But does the person who used very sharp knife on the other one, does he really want to do that? No, he just didn't think that that's what he is doing. And that's why he said it so beautifully. Since wisdom is seeing the outcome of what you say or do, stupidity is just speaking and acting without concern of the outcome. So it's very nice that sometimes we think, well, I'm his wife or I'm her husband, and therefore she knows me by now. No. Even when we know ourselves very well, if you burn yourself, you feel burnt, right? The same thing, if your spouse says something that burns, you'll get burnt, because we are not made in a way that once you know it's fire, you're not going to get burnt. No, fire will burn you, even if you know it's fire or not, or even if it's friendly fire or not. That's that's how it is. So outcome thinking, what we're going to learn today, and I'm telling you, try to master it, try to work on it, take it to heart, because it's so valuable. It will change your life for the good. So imagine asking someone to give you a job you desperately need. You're very short on money, and the salary would enable you to keep your house and feed your family. You ask for an interview, and you're given 15 minutes to state reasons why the employer should hire you. You're told that you could say anything you want during the interview. You will not be asked any questions, nor you will be told if you're saying the right or the wrong things. At the end of the 15 minutes, you will be hired if you convince the boss that you will do a good job. You're told only one thing about the employer's policy. He will only hire you if he feels that you will be beneficial to the company. Okay? So what did we just say? That this is, he's bringing out, Rabbi Pliskin, an example to show us very clearly what it means to think before you speak and to think of what the outcome of what I say will be. So here we have one man that desperately needs a job, and he hears of a place that is hiring, but in a very interesting way. When you go to the interview, you're given 15 minutes. They just listen to you, no questions asked. And at the end, you're either hired or not. And they will hire you if you could convince them that that's the right thing for them to do. Imagine that someone who is an expert communicator comes over to you and says, I have written 2 scripts. Look them over. I'm not going to tell you which one to choose. Take them both and follow the pattern that you feel will be in your best interest. If you choose the wrong pattern, you will not be given the job. I hope you make the right choice. So then comes a good friend who knows how to write very well, and he gives you 2 essays. 2 he prepared for you, and he says, you choose the one that you feel it's the right thing for you. Script 1. I sure hope that you will give me a job. I like your place very much, and I think I would enjoy myself here. I need money, and it's very important for me to get the job. If you fail to hire me, I will consider you evil and cruel. I will keep feeling this resentment and will wish you harm. I think that you should feel guilty and ashamed of yourself for not hiring me. I'm sure that you've done a lot of wrong things already in the past, and this would just be another one to add to your list. How could you be so selfish? Now give me the job. So that's script 1. Script 2. I have researched the company's needs and feel that I can be very helpful to you. Based on my education and work experience, I will be able to help you increase your profits. I have much experience working with personnel similar to those who are working for you, and I feel confident that I can motivate your employees into a unified team. Let me show you my plans for creating an incentive program that will increase employee loyalty and raise your profits. It's obvious, right? Any normal person would know that the first script is a mess. The problem is that a lot of very normal people do this with their spouse, day in and day out. That's how they talk to each other. You're so mean. You're always mean to me. I can never expect anything from you. You never care about my feelings. But when we talk like that, what does the other one want to do? Can you be quiet? That doesn't make him want to please you. It doesn't make him or her want to listen, want to spend time. Just like these two scripts, they are exaggerated on purpose. But guess what? In real life, it is not an exaggeration because so many people do this. Mamash, this is the way they talk day in and day out with their spouse, and they don't understand why they're not being respected and why the other one doesn't care and why they're not being loved and why he's not super excited to take me out on my birthday and get me the nicest present and why he doesn't care to go on a vacation with me, and so on and so forth. So I'm saying he, but it's equally the same. So this is something that's very important to think. What I am going to say, what outcome will it bring? And then maybe we want to change the script. What do I want him or her to hear in order that they would want to give me what I want or what I need? Okay? In harmonious marriages, the mutual love and respect, both the husband and wife speak to each other in ways that bring out their best. Unfortunately, there are couples who don't. It's amazing how many otherwise normal and intelligent people ask for things in their marriage using scripts similar to the script one. It's unbelievable how many people talk like that with their spouse, because they often forget to think about the outcome that they really want. They become frustrated, resentful, angry, and then just say whatever comes to their mind, provoking their spouse to respond accordingly. Take, for example, a person who asks his or her spouse to take care of something by saying, "You don't make good use of your time anyway, so why don't you at least do something useful and get up and do something for me?" Would the other person want to get up and do something for you? They might want to throw a rotten tomato at you, but not come and help you. This is really not a very effective way to asking something. Or another example is, "I know you don't want to do this for me, but I'll ask you anyways." Why? Why? And unfortunately, we do that. Many people do that. People who are very intelligent do that. It's unbelievable. People that in the office, at work, they know exactly what to say and how to get the business deals because they know what to say that will work. And at home, which is the most precious place for them, they lose their mind and they say all the wrong things, that instead of becoming best friends and lovers, they resent each other and they almost prefer not to be in each other's company because it's
Huh?
confusing.
Let me turn off this.
Okay. So make it a high priority to become a wise communicator. Think first about what you want. So how do we avoid talking like that or saying these things? Make it a high priority to become wise, a wise communicator. How do we do that? Think first about what you want. This is so, so, so important. Before you open your mouth, think, what do I want? Let's say I want a cup of water, okay? I want my husband to bring me a cup of water. So what are the best chances that I will get a cup of water? If I ask for it nicely. If I say, "Hi, can you please do me a favor? Oh, it's such a big mitzvah. Can you get me a cup of water? Oh, I love you. Thank you so, so much." Or if you say, "Hey, you're standing there. Why don't you get me a cup of water?" You might get a cup of water anyways. But how? Besimcha. What do we lose from saying things nice? Do we lose something? Yeah, you know what you lose? That maybe they will love you more. You're going to be more beloved if you talk nicely. That's the only thing that you might lose. I remember as a kid, I had a book with jokes. So there was a joke there. It was, I don't know why it was called the joke. It had so many things there that weren't exactly jokes. But anyways, that there was one rabbi that had a very, very nasty wife. Whatever he would ask her, he would do just the opposite. And he was always nice to her, and she was always nasty. Before he died, when he was on his deathbed, so she comes to him and she says, "Can you please, before you die, you tell all your students and our children and everybody that the only reason why I was nasty to you is because that's what you asked me when we got married, that I should be your kaparat avonot. And all my life I wanted to be nice, but I did this only because you asked me that I should do the kapara for you." So I don't know if it's a joke or not, but I don't think too many of us are on that level that our entire life we torture our husbands just because he asked for it that he should have kapara. But definitely it's kapara for sure. Okay, someone asked, what if you ask nicely and you still don't get what you want? So outcome thinking is, it depends. You only ask nicely when you want something? Or are you nice and considerate all the time? Because if it's a pattern that you never do anything that you're asked for, but then now you ask for something with a smile, yeah, the person is already frustrated. Now don't be sweet now because you want something out of me. Okay, so outcome thinking is our entire life. I gave you just the example of the cup of water, but if husband and wife want to have a relationship that is a giving, loving, caring relationship, it's not that you could do 90% be nasty and then the 10% that you're nice, the other one should melt for you. It doesn't really work like that. And of course, people are different. also depending on the upbringing. Some people don't realize that they're talking not nicely. So just like we might ask for things in a tone of voice that's really unpleasant, but we don't realize. Maybe the other one, when he says, okay, wait, he doesn't realize that that is not nice. So for that, we need communication also. But let's go back to the steps. So the first thing is that we should know, what do I want? Not what do I not want. What do I want? What is important for me? And we should try to convey that in the cleanest, nicest way, without complaining, without back history. I'm going to ask for it for the third time or for the 50th time, and I hope this time you'll do it. No, as if you never asked for it before. You know what I'm thinking? I really would like this and that. What do you think about it? If it's without nagging, not in an annoying way. Also, husband and wife have to get to know each other and try to figure out what annoys the other one and what is nagging to the other one, and try to avoid it. Sometimes we don't realize, and our spouse would say, well, you're yelling at me. And you say, no, I'm not yelling. Sometimes it's worth it to have someone in front of you or someone that was present to say what they think. Because they might tell you, yes, Ma, you really spoke a little. There was a tone of being annoyed in your tone of voice, and you did not realize that. If you have cameras that have recording, listen to the way you sound. Listen to how the conversation went. It might be pretty embarrassing when you watch it. And it might be a good thing, because after you watch it, you might be horrified from the way you sound. And your spouse might be horrified from the way he sounds. And maybe that's something that's good, to go over things and see what we sound like, and then ask ourselves honestly, does anyone wants to say yes to a request that sounds like this? So besides for saying it nicely and using a good tone of voice and not being nagging, etc., there is one example that I love sharing, that I say to my kalot, that's outcome thinking. Okay, let's say your husband promised to come home at 5 o'clock because it's your cousin's wedding, and you really want to be there on time. It's 5, it's 5:30, it's 6, and he's not there yet. 6:30, he comes in, did not pick up the phone. What is the most normal for a normal person to say? What happened? Right? You probably were so nervous. Maybe you already opened the Tehillim because you were so worried. How come he's not picking up the phone, and where is he, and he promised me? And so you go from being upset to becoming nervous to becoming super worried. And then when he comes in, instead of jumping for joy that he's alive and he's well, you burst out and you say, where were you? What did you ask? Where were you? What's the answer to that? I was in traffic. How come you didn't call me? My phone died, the charger wasn't working. The more he answers, the more annoyed you get. Why? Because you really don't care to know where he was and what happened. You really want to hear, I'm So you were wishing that as soon as he came in, he would say, I can't believe this happened to you. To me, I feel so bad. I know I promised you. But before he got a chance, you jumped on him. And you said, what happened? Where were you? So he's giving answers. So that's a good example of what do you want? What do you really want to hear? So most people want to hear, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad. So now let's think, what should the question be in order for the answer to be, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad? Anyone wants to? I would think if you say, Baruch Hashem, you're here. I was so worried. I was already reading Tehillim for you. I got so nervous. Then the normal answer would be, I feel so bad. I was thinking of you the whole time. I almost wanted to stop and ask someone to borrow a phone and call you. So depending on what the question is, that's how the answer will be. And I'm talking about good people. I'm not talking about mean, bad people. We're talking about people who want to be good. But even the people that want to be good, when they're put on the defensive, when they're under attack, they're going to act as if they're being attacked. And that's not what we want. We don't want to be in war. We don't really mean to attack, but that's what we do. So outcome thinking is to think, what do I really want? Let's say you plan to have a date night with your husband, and he comes home and he's on the phone and still doing his business. And you prepared a nice dinner, you were going to go for a walk maybe, or for a drive or whatever, and you see he's in a different world. You could get upset, and rightfully so. And you'll go to ask the Rav and say, this is what happened and am I right? And the Rav will say, yes, you're right. And will tell your husband, that's very wrong, you should not do that. But now a smart person, your husband comes and he's on the phone. Now you could have a fight, and you're right to have the fight. But is that what you want? You wanted a fun evening. So how can you turn? Maybe if you come in a very cute way and say, okay, I give you 5 more minutes. In 5 more minutes, you're going to be all mine. Maybe that will be a little more, give you an opportunity to have a nice evening. So that's outcome thinking. Instead of going into the place of anger and resentment, and that is really Maaseh Satan, because that's how the Satan takes us and destroys everything good. Instead, we have to think, what do I really want? Every time you feel disappointed, you get upset about something, stop yourself and say, what is it that I really want? And now, will I get it by complaining? Will I get it by crying? Will I get it by giving a silence treatment? How will I get what I want? Okay, so make it a high priority to become a wise communicator. Think first about what you want. This is outcome thinking. Not only should you think about the specific thing you want, but you should also think about the emotional state you want your spouse to be in. Then you should say only those things that will make it more likely for you to get the outcome you want together with the goodwill of your spouse. So not only what you want, but also you want your husband to be funny, or you want him to be happy, or how do you want him to be? And if you say what, where will it take him or her? Keep asking yourself, what do I want? Don't think in terms of what you don't want, but what you do want. Then ask for it in a way that makes your spouse feel comfortable. Be specific and word your request positively. Use it, say it in a positive way. Some people say it with the little needle, with the little filfel. Don't do that. It's not nice. It doesn't make the other one happy. Don't pinch as you talk, because it makes the other one say ouch and want to stay away. When you have mastered outcome thinking, you will consistently speak with a pleasant tone of voice. You will refrain from saying anything that will sound like blaming or attacking, because it doesn't get you anywhere. You really don't win the battle when you attack or when you blame. You only lose. In marriage, besides motivating your spouse to stop or start doing something, you also want to maintain goodwill. So this needs to be an integral part of your thinking when you consider the outcome you want. See, let's say you asked to go on a vacation and you got it. Now, how do you want your spouse to be with you for the next 2, 3 days that you're going away? Loving, fun, happy, or you got it, so what do you want from me? Here, I'm here with you, what do you want? How do you want it to be? So that's something that we have to keep in mind. It's not only the vacation, but we also want the good spirit. And that's very important to have outcome thinking, that chas v'chalila, you went, you spent the money, you put the time, and now you're going to fight over something stupid, and for that you're going to mess up your entire vacation. And it happens to so many people. It's so sad. So sad. They put everything, they do the vacation and they come back. Why? Because they said one thing that they shouldn't have. And you know what the problem is? They don't even regret it, because they keep saying, but I was right to say it. You had the right to say it, but you were stupid for saying it, because you wanted a nice vacation. And for that nasty sentence, you lost your entire beautiful vacation? Was it worth it? Was it worth it to say, why can't you help me now? And for that, lose the whole vacation? Is it worth it? So that's not outcome thinking. That's not thinking about what will the result be. Sometimes people tell me after these classes, it's easy to say and hard to do. And I want to tell you something. It's harder not to do. It's hard to do, but it is so much harder to live without doing it. I don't know people who live without doing it, and they keep stumbling, and they spend their entire life stumbling again and again. That is much harder than having that control. You know what it is like? It's like rolling down a mountain. Yes, it's easy to roll down the mountain, but you keep being banged and hurt. Yes, it's effortless, but you end up all broken and in pain. Going up the mountain takes a lot of effort, but you feel good about yourself. you become stronger and stronger. That's what it is. So saying it's harder said than done than said, it's not true. Only if you like being banged and in pain. If it's easier for you to be in pain and crushed than working hard to get somewhere, then yes. So that's choices that we have to make. If yours is a marriage of mutual love and respect, you will be able to communicate to your spouse in a way that influences and motivates him or her to increase what you wish to be increased and decrease or eliminate what distresses you. Whether it is easy or difficult, it depends on a number of factors. If you and your spouse love each other, and your needs and wishes are in harmony, that you really want to be good to each other. You want the other one to be comfortable. You don't wish bad to each other. And you both have cheerful temperaments, and you both are experts at knowing what to say and what not to say, it will be very easy. It will be difficult, however, if you both wish that your spouse were different. Some people always never make peace with the person that they married, with the fact that they married that person. I met a person not long ago, older than me, that she cannot forgive her parents for marrying her to the person that she married. Never mind. She has a nice family. You know, from the outside, what do I know? But she looks like she had a very comfortable life. But, you know, she can't forget her parents for it. Now, a person that can't forget her parents for it, she for sure cannot forgive her husband for it, for everything. And what, you think her parents wanted to harm her? Her parents gave her to a very wealthy man, not too much older than her in the terms of those days, that she should have a nice, comfortable life. That's all they know. They try the best. But she cannot forgive them. She never made peace with it. She always wanted him to be different. And I'm not just talking about her. Some people never. I want you to be like this, and I wish you would be like that, and I wish you would do this. But this is not the person that you married. And imagine if you are the one that your spouse keeps telling you and make it known to you how unhappy he is with everything that you are. Is that fun? To constantly be told, I wish you were different in this, and I wish you were different in that, and I wish you spoke different, and I wish you ate different, and I wish you looked different, and I wish... It's not pleasant. You don't want to please it. It wouldn't come naturally for you to want to please the person who looks at you like this. It's very difficult. So we really have to accept each other and love each other for who we are. And I say this to women a lot. In Judaism, we're allowed to get divorced. But if you're going to stay together, do it pleasant. Do it pleasant. You want to be suffering forever? Turn things around, accept them, and have fun with it. It will be difficult, however, if you both wish that your spouses were different, if your needs and wishes consistently clash, and if you both are irritable easy to anger, hard to appease. It will be difficult if you don't learn from your mistakes and have not a clue of what makes each other tick. Some people never paid attention to see why they make their spouse crazy. They don't know. They keep repeating the same mistakes to make the other one upset and annoyed. And they don't know what it is. Stay away from what he doesn't like. If when you talk about his mother, he gets upset, don't talk about his mother. It's just one example, but there are many other examples. There are things that rightfully so, not rightfully so, they're dear to him. Maybe it's his old jeans, don't touch it. Okay, so don't touch it. Why don't we have to be able to give space to each other and to accept each other? And again, we have to think, what do I want? Let's say we're talking about the old jeans. Really, you really don't want the old jeans to be in the closet? That's what you want? How important is it that it should not be in the closet? That again and again and again you talk to him about. Sometimes there are things that it's not how you wanted them to be, but it's not what you want. So let's concentrate on what do I want, not what I don't want. What do I want? And what should I do or say or act like that it would be more probable for me to be able to get what I want, to achieve what I want. Some people object to the concept of outcome thinking. And they say, but isn't it important to be spontaneous? They ask, yes, I think it's wonderful to be spontaneous, but it's even more wonderful to live in an atmosphere of love and respect, peace and harmony. If you're married to someone who is your dream partner, you probably can afford to be spontaneous as long as you're kind and sensitive. But if you're married to someone to whom you find challenging, and instead of overflowing with feelings of love and respect, you frequently feel frustrated, resentful, or angry, it is short-sighted to be spontaneous. You have to be realistic. And if you're not in a relationship where it's just fun and enjoyable, then you cannot be spontaneous. Then you have to be more careful. Then you have to think twice before you say something, because you don't want the world war to explode. Because you want the peace and you want the calm and you want to be relaxed. So why say things that will bring what you don't want? So again, so what did we learn tonight? Outcome thinking, that we think, what do I want? And practice in our mind, if I say this, what will be his or her reaction? And therefore, should I say it or should I not say it? Should I do it or should I not do it? When you think of the outcome, with the outcome in mind, it is often best to concise, talk less, do less. The general rule is omit unnecessary words. Feel the power of this statement. When you and your spouse are feeling distressed, the more words you say, the more likely it is that you will say things that would have been better left unsaid. Long speeches are appropriate when you're involved in an interesting conversation and both you and the person you're talking to are in positive states. But when you find that the more you say, the further away you are from getting what you want, so stop talking. Keep that in mind. Okay. Any questions? I hope I was clear. And I know I come across sometimes very straight and strong, but believe me, this chapter is my favorite, because once you learn to use this outcome thinking, it will help you in so many ways in life, not just in your marriage. So many things in life, to ask yourself, what do I want and how do I get there? Not what I don't want. What I don't want, don't pay attention to it. It's not where you put your focus. What do I want and how do I get there? בהצלחה.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you
Shabbat.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. And thank you so much for those of you who kept your videos on. I know it's not easy, especially Thursday night, but you make a big difference. Big difference to the class.